everyone, this is ToneReacts here, and today we're going to be reacting to the fish that hates water. And if y'all excited for today's reaction, be sure to leave a like down below, subscribe if you're new, and hit the bell for notifications. And yeah, let's get into it.
Do fish know there's something else out there aside from water? When the mortality rate rose at the hospital where Dr. Ignaz Semmelweis worked, he suggested the rates could drop if surgeons washed their hands more often. Unfortunately, his colleagues were outraged by the idea and ignored this theory.
Really?
And only 20 years later, it was confirmed Semmelweis was right. What do marine creatures have to do with it? Only a few of them, like Dr. Semmelweis, know the world has changed a long time ago. It no longer makes sense to live in water only. To be washed up on a shore means certain death for almost any marine creature. But what if a killer whale and a shark end up on land at the same time? Let's say it's the same beach. There are no people. How much time do both animals have before the inevitable?
Yikes.
Actually, when it comes to fish, it all depends on the species. Some aquarium fish can only last for a couple of minutes if they jump out of the water.
Holy shit!
Die right after that.
Lord!
Blame them. When you live in an aquarium, you can't adapt to the harsh external world with all that air. But what about sharks? They rarely end up in aquariums, though it doesn't really matter if you pull the predator out of water. On average, the shark will last a few minutes on the shore. But the killer whale, being a mammal, will survive for several hours.
Really?
The secret lies in the lungs. When in the course of the evolution you abandon the gills, this really brings some perks. With the help of the lungs, killer whales can breathe easily. However, other parts of the body ruin everything. A too thick layer of fat, lack of thermoregulation, heavy weight. In short, they can't start living on land just like that. Let's not forget, it's extremely stressful for a shark to end up on land. Scientists have already proven fish can feel both pain and fear. So no wonder an event like that will make a shark panic for real. It's quite difficult to understand when you spend your entire life on land, but imagine you suddenly wake up at the bottom of the ocean and you can't swim. Not the best feeling ever, right? Panic can entirely block any logical thinking and any reflexes except for the classic fight or flight. But where do you run if you're a fish that suddenly ended up out of water? I think in a situation like that, our hypothetical shark will be completely disoriented. The killer whale can hardly get lost in space, even outside its usual habitat. First, it's much easier to stay cool when you're not suffocating. And second, well, once upon a time, killer whales used to walk on land. Before ending up in the ocean, their distant ancestors, who are also the ancestors of whales and dolphins, walked on land for several million years. And they didn't like it. Oh, I remember this stone. Today, there's plenty of evidence for this unusual evolutionary path, which first brought mammals out of the water and then brought them back in. I already mentioned it in one of the previous videos, but recently I found another piece of evidence. Whales and dolphins are born with hair. No kidding. Well, this doesn't apply to all species, but some of them are really born with something that looks like whiskers. It quickly disappears because it's entirely useless. After all, there are no barbershops underwater. Although these whiskers are only visible in some species, hair follicles are an evolutionary trait of mammals. Well, in case you suddenly need more proof.
Really?
The vast majority of warm-blooded animals need hair to stay warm and safe. But if marine mammals lose them as they grow up, they had to find an alternative. And there is one. They get fat. I mean really fat. The thickness of their blubber can exceed 12 inches. And its main purpose is to serve as an energy store to increase buoyancy and keep the animals warm, even in icy water. And that seems like a much more comfortable option than swimming in a fur coat. But since marine mammals could grow blubber instead of lost hair, why didn't they think about gills? Seems like that'd be a rather convenient mutation for someone who spends all their time in the water. Yeah, I thought so too. Then I found out that it's not reasonable, for example, for dolphins to change the way they breathe. Thanks to gills, fish can descend to great depths, where it's really cold. But dolphins prefer warm water near the surface where there's always food and you can always swim to the surface to get some air. To do this, they don't even have to stick their face out of the water. For dolphins, growing gills is like moving from a country with a mild climate to somewhere beyond the Arctic Circle. That is, you can do it, but why would you? Dolphins are lucky since they can't come up with complex and even absurd theories, but I can. What will marine mammals do if all oxygen on the Earth's surface disappears?
I don't know.
Not the entire atmosphere, just one chemical element. Seems like breathing will be the main issue then, but believe me, we won't even have time to think about it. The thing is, oxygen can be found in a bunch of compounds, which in turn are part of the objects around us. They'll all just crumble. Literally all of them. Your furniture, your clothes, your car, your computer, even your house.
Damn.
And you'll follow them too. Keep in mind, there's a lot of water in a person, and there's oxygen in water.
Oh, I'll be right back. Commercial break. Hey, I'm back.
It would seem that after such a global disaster, the oxygen reserves in the world's oceans should be gradually depleted. But it's produced right under the water. Actually, the oceans are oxygen-producing factories. And according to some scientists, up to 80% of the oxygen production on Earth comes from the ocean. The majority of this production is from oceanic plankton, drifting plants, algae, and some bacteria that can photosynthesize. Assuming oxygen only disappeared on land, the ocean should be fine. What about marine mammals? What should dolphins, killer whales, and whales who cannot breathe through the water do? Well, learn how to do it. Of course, if oxygen disappeared suddenly, they wouldn't stand a chance. But it's quite possible to learn from the fish, which were trained to walk on land. A group of researchers raised 111 juvenile Senegal beachirs on land. These fish have a sort of lungs and fins quite convenient for walking. After living on land, their muscles and fins changed so much they became another proof that our very distant ancestors moved from water to land. And it happened pretty quickly. So marine mammals would have an inspiring example to follow. It's not all about Senegal beachirs, though. No offense, guys. In the warm regions of our planet, evolution occurs much faster, and many marine mammals like to hang out where it's warm. Do you feel the connection? Warmer temperatures speed up metabolism. Everything starts to work faster, which means evolutionary processes are also accelerated. This comes at a cost, though. Such acceleration increases the chances of random mutation. That is, killer whales might not only get gills, but also turn into some new species unknown to science.
Ew.
Oh,
the fuck?
This feels good. Okay, let's forget about possible future mutations for now. What's the real reason why killer whales started to hunt on land? It's unlikely they really remember that once upon a time they walked on land and that there was food. Well, some species do have a genetic memory, but it's impossible to remember what happened millions of years back. So it seems it's all about the oceanic fish that shrank in size. Over the years of our planet's existence, many organisms became more compact. Take dinosaurs, for example. Not to mention, the fish is growing smaller right now. Over the past few decades alone, chum, sockeye, chinook, and silver have decreased in size by more than 10% all across Alaska. I think the first ones to notice this change will be the predators that eat this fish. Perhaps the killer whales also recognize that. Noticing that the fish they hunted started to get smaller, the killer whales revised their menu and added fur seals to it. Wait, fur seals often come ashore? Well then, we'll get out too. No biggie. Also, it's quite possible that even one fur seal is a more nutritious meal than a couple of pounds of fish. After all, what's the point of wasting your energy on catching small prey? Killer whales don't have a net to quickly catch a bunch of salmon and then calmly enjoy it chilling in the sun. It's important for any animal to find food that'll provide maximum energy at the minimum effort required for catching. Just imagine you have a choice. Eat a pack of chips you bought at the mall, or climb a tree to get one little chip from there, which you'll also have to share with your entire family. But you know, I'm wondering how killer whales think, whether they have a genetic memory, whether they can arrive at complex conclusions. Well, most likely, everything was much simpler. One day, killer whales ended up on shore by accident and found that it was a really lucky accident. I'm gonna die, I'm definitely gonna die now. Oh, food. See you later.
Oh, that was funny. Anyways, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did like the video, please subscribe. That'll help out a lot. Hit the bell for notifications and like this video. And I'll see y'all later. Bye.